Hi, welcome to Culture Shot. I want to put to bed a question that I've been asked more times than I can count. A really sort of irritating question because it kind of misses the fundamental point. I'm asked, how do you measure culture? How do you know if your culture's working? And I'm asked as if, you know, there's some sort of magical way of measuring this. But the truth of the matter is, you know whether culture is working, whether you've got the right culture in place, whether you're getting what you want out of it, by the basic financial and business results. If you've got higher levels of financial performance, if you've got faster product delivery times, if you've got better customer service, if all of those things that you might be wanting to measure, if you've got those are only happening because your teams are gelling. And if your teams are gelling, then there's a fair bet that you're getting a lot of the underlying behaviors that you want to get out of people, be that ownership or accountability, I mean, whatever it might be. And if your performance is particularly good, if it's really good, if it's measurably improving, then it's a fair bet that you've got those sorts of behaviors from a lot of people in your organization. Which means you can tell your culture's working if your business is working better. It's as simple as that, really. Now, the interesting thing about it is that gives leaders a totally different set of objectives to the ones we might ordinarily think that we should focus on. Because if financial performance, if business results, if growth, if a return on shareholder value, for heaven's sake, there's a great term, but if all of those things are dependent on people working, then the success of the business is dependent on culture, on getting the culture right. Which means you can focus all you want on generating higher levels of sales or creating, you know, fewer errors in your manufacturing process. So you can focus on all of those sorts of things. But if those are your primary focus, those outcomes are your focus, then all you do is give yourself an upstream problem, which is the people. Because none of those things happen without people being on board and choosing to deliver, you know, voluntary great behaviors. So the focus needs to be on culture in order to achieve great results. And that's why we should be focusing on culture. We focus sometimes in all the wrong places. We think we'll know whether our culture is working if people are happier. But you know, my experience, happy people will be happy people no matter what you do to them. And miserable people be a bunch of whiny bastards no matter what you give them. To focus on all of that, to make that the purpose of your culture, to make that the focus of your culture, is to miss the point. And leaders who are trying to convince leaders of their organizations, other leaders, that culture is important, ought to focus their attentions elsewhere as well, because it's not a very convincing argument that we should spend a hell of a lot of time trying to make people happy. If, on the other hand, we are focusing on culture, we are focusing on an environment where happiness is possible in the first place, where the kinds of behaviors we want people to choose are easy for them to choose because it's a great place to work, because they've got some autonomy, some freedom, some say in what they do, because they feel valued and so on, then you'll have a strong culture in place. And that strong culture is likely to lead to great business results. It's ABC. It's as simple as that. There's no mystical, fantastic way to measure culture beyond the business results. It serves a purpose, a very important business purpose, and that's why it's so important. There's your thought for the week, and have a great week.